microphone a little more there. There we go. I like to lean back and relax on this one. We've got a lovely close-up of his head. Bing bong, what? What? Is it a deerstalker cap? No, it's not a deerstalker cap. Although it should have been, now that I think about it. God damn it. Why didn't I think to do that? Anyway, let's get caught back up though. First of all, what do we need to do? Find out how to simulate the deadly plants of the Colonial Collection. Right. They weren't in the Colonial Collection though, were they? Maybe we have to I determine that, but maybe Holmes needs to determine it. God damn it, man. Hat or pipe, get your votes in. Yeah, get your votes in. You know, vote away and we'll see how right you all are. How good are your deductive powers? What kind of detectives are you guys? I'm the one doing all the work here. It's time you guys did a little something as well. Go ahead, you know, you show me how smart you all are and tell me what you think I've ordered. And we'll see who's right at the end of the day. It may not be any of those. Go right ahead. See what you think you know. How well do you know my mind? Anyway, before performing the experiment in the Colonial Collection room, talk to all the suspects about the day of the murder. Okay, so we need to do all of that. There are a few things I need to get cleared up as well. Let me double check a couple of things. Did we need to do anything in the evidence room? The buried chemistry flask. I'm not really good at chemistry, so I still kind of don't get this thing. Like why we found gold dust and the alkaloid solution and the caterpillar all in a jar, and it was buried. It's like, I mean, it led us to something, but it doesn't make sense to me yet. Fool solved the case while you were flopping back and forth between conclusions. I haven't made my conclusions yet. Well, not to you guys. I think I already know who done it, but I want to wait until we get all the information, because invariably there's been something that changes. Remember the railway case? There was something that changed. I was like, oh, the old, you know, Australian guy didn't do it. And then I was like, maybe he did. Because we found one thing at the very end that swung everything around the other way. Talking about the Roman bath case. Oh, right, yeah, well, that one... I had canon retcon what actually happened there. Martin Hamish, Father and I at Kew Gardens, that wasn't it. Albert's workplace... Cleaning lies. None of the employees at Kew Gardens explain why the Colonial Collection was partially emptied and cleaned. Someone is not telling the truth. This is obvious. The marble bust of Montague Dunn. This, I think I need to go and check again where this was found. Situated in the Colonial Collection room, because we found a fragment of it that was broken off, probably when all the stuff was moved out of there to burn it, because it was covered in contaminated spores, right? The things that killed Montague Dunn. So... it was moved and thrown into the refuse bin in the nursery. It was the nursery, wasn't it? Right. Okay, overranked. Keys for Kew Gardens. A set of keys to open all the doors at Kew Gardens except the one to the cloakroom. Yeah, well, we had to pick the lock for that one. That's where we found a whole bunch of stuff. Equipment, clay pots and accessory tools. Those were some of the pots we found in the main display room. The door. Reconstruction of Dunn's death reveals disturbing facts. He splintered the door of the Colonial Collection room. He was either consumed by panic or the door had been locked. If it was the latter, his death may have been a premeditated murder. This is interesting. This was something else I need to double check, is the ability to lock the doors inside the main greenhouses. We know all the other ones are locked and stay locked all day. Key holders are a clue here. You know, I saw a book once that claimed to correctly solve the cases in the old Sherlock Holmes stories. It claimed that Sherlock was a terrible detective and he solves all of his cases incorrectly. That might be interesting if that's the case, you know? If that was like something Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was trying to put out there and it's like, you know, guys, he just guesses. You think he's brilliant because he's telling you he's brilliant. And you tend to believe things like that, but yeah. And this one was the Divine Syndicate guys, wasn't it? That was part of the clay pot that we found in the burned out rubble from the Colonial display. The ones that was burned, the basically disposal of evidence pyre. Right, I want to go to Kew Gardens. I want to have a look at a few things. Where is it? Ah, there we go. Got it. But yeah, I've been doing the whole who had motive, who had opportunity, who had the necessary skills, and that kind of thing. And are they following through on their end goal? That's another big part of it for me. I'll do the full rundown for y'all when we come down to pick one. I always said that my greatest trait isn't knowing everything, but making people believe that I know everything. Yep. Although maybe don't ask, maybe don't answer an interview question like that when they say, what's your greatest weakness? You say, oh, I care too much. I'm a perfectionist. Yeah. You're basically a politician, yeah. That's right. Right, so here's the nursery. This was something I wanted to check first of all. The nursery is where Albert works, I believe. Is this right? No, this isn't Albert's desk, is it? No, this was... this is Martin Hamish's desk. Yeah. Martin Hamish's own book. Cedar glass case. Oh, sorry, glass case. Why did I think it said cedar glass case? And yeah, do you remember the name of the book? And hi, Sarkisian, how are you today? Am I saying your name right, by the way? Is it Sarkisian or Sarkasian? Is it like a sort of an air kind of I? It's Sarkisian, right? But let me know if I'm saying it wrong. I get names horribly wrong in this place. It took me ages to pronounce Alchemist's name. I was like, Alchemist? Oh, Alchemist. Right, so here's the thing. This is close to Hamish's workplace. Okay, so it's not in the same place where Miss White is, but she may have access still. That was the other thing I wanted to check. That's not what I needed to open up. I want my conversation history. Right. I want to see whether or not she only has a key to the seed house or the whole compound. Because Albert gave her keys, because he clearly fancies her, right? Okay, let's see. Also, she didn't seem too broken up. Oh yes, he was a truly good man. Such a terrible misfortune. She was very dismissive in her tone. It didn't ring with what she was saying. And she's never been in there, ... She kind of trailed off. She's part-time biology student. She attends the same classes as the son of Mr. Montague Dunn, Albert. That's how she found a chance to work here as part of the thesis, and it's a great honour. Yeah, this is all stuff I remember. He loved his son dearly and wanted the very best for him. It made him extremely demanding. Albert, who is naturally shy, suffered. The Divine Syndicate, does that mean anything to you? Not at all, but it's a very pretty name. Most of the doors in the Kew Gardens are locked. Do you have a key to this room? Oh, yes. Albert gave me a set of duplicate keys, plural. She has keys for the entire place. And she admits it. Martin Hamish says he doesn't. He has no keys. Okay, that's the other guy. He says he has no keys. He could be lying, but he kind of had a bit of resentment for the fact that Albert has keys. Because he's like, Albert walks around swanning about with the keys now, like he owns the place and all that stuff. So, yeah, the other thing I wanted to check. We will get around to talking to these guys in a moment. I just wanted to look at some stuff that's been bugging me for the last 2 days while I've been thinking this through. It's your surname, and in your native tongue it sounds not at all like that? Oh, okay. I would say, could you describe how it sounds, but that doesn't work either because people read letters differently, right? That's always puzzled me when I see streamers struggling to pronounce somebody's name in the channel and then they break it down, like putting dashes in there, and it's like, that doesn't matter. They might pronounce an A differently in, you know, their own dialect, so what does it... It doesn't work that way. Yeah. Okay, the other thing, yeah, this was what I wanted to check. There is a lock on the door. You see this? And this was the new handle, was the inner handle, not the outer handle. Okay, these were just things that I was kind of curious about. And again, the ventilation grid. I wonder why it needs to be opened or not. So the inner handle was replaced. This side of the room near the grid was wiped down with all the detergent. The windows are more clean than the rest of them, and a lot of the display was missing. We know that's all in the pyre that got put out back. Okay. Well, can we use our imagination again here and have a look at the sequence of events? No. So he forced the door open, probably because it was locked. I can examine these trees.
These trees, with their roots in water, must originate from Louisiana.
Ooh, the bayou. There's nothing else then that we should be looking at. Just want to make sure we don't miss a damn thing. We know they probably broke one of the pots, but somebody took the time to put that back. But they didn't clean up the rest of it. They had the mind on cleaning out the room and making sure the dangerous spores were removed, right? Now this is the dry tropics section. Was this where we found the pots with the S on the base? Yeah. This is interesting to me. If those pots have an S on the base, but then the pots we found at the Divine Syndicate had Kew Gardens logos on them, so wouldn't they just all have the Kew Gardens logos on them anyway? It's very weird to me. That's okay. If you find a way to describe the pronunciation, you'll try. Awesome. Right, so yeah, this was where they burned everything, including the handle. It's interesting they burned the handle, but again, the guy would have had spores on it, right? He would have got it all on his hands, and it would have then transferred to the handle, because he'll have tried that first, so that needed ripping off and replacing with another door. And then they burn it, not to destroy it, because you can't destroy the metal, but to burn the spores off of it at the very least. So that's what I'm thinking happened there. That seems pretty logical. So, the ventilation system. There's water here. Make sure we don't miss anything here.
A ventilation system. It should regulate the temperature of the staff buildings.
So this is their aircon. And it's missing something. Where did they do the intake, by the way? I guess it just goes in through that side grate there and then into the main pipes. Alright. Well, let's go around and talk to everybody. I'm going to start with my least likely suspect and work my way up. Sorry for the awful English from time to time. No problem, as long as you accept my apologies for the same. If you stick around long enough, you'll hear me trying to read out loud in this game. Oh, God. Well, any game where it has text, it's a nightmare for me. I struggle. Plus the fact that I'm from Barnsley in England, and that's just... Oh. That's the bad English version of English. Okay.
Your father's death does seem highly suspicious. What were your movements here on that day?
Suspicious? Well, I was working in the seed house, taking care of Lysa something, or Lear Pontus, or... No, wait. Ah, these Latin names. And I spent so many hours trying to memorize them.
Did you see your father that day?
Yes. He came here with Mr. Hamish for his weekly visit. There was nothing unusual about that.
And then?
Nothing. They stepped out to the backyard. It was perhaps 20 minutes before 10 o'clock. Then about 10 minutes later, I saw my father heading for the dry tropics room while Mr. Hamish returned here.
So they went to the seed house and then left. His father went to the dry tropics room. He was probably going to go in and walk his way through, inspecting the facilities, because he was at that end anyway. And Hamish came back.
And Mr. Hamish and Miss White, what were they both doing that morning?
Mr. Hamish visited me a couple of times. I also saw him returning from talking with Miss White, and that was at 10 minutes past 10. But then he ran back here to me to tell me that my father was feeling unwell. We hurried across to the water lily room, and I found my father lying dead on the floor. Oh, my God.
So Hamish discovered the body.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
And he was in the seed room. Well, we know the seed room, he can't see the colonial room from there, so there's no chance he would have actually seen it happen. But he's very close to the what is it place? The ventilation place. Okay. He's not my next least likely suspect. My next least likely suspect is the Divine Society. In fact, no, I'd say they are the least likely. This guy, on the other hand, yeah, he's further up the list. But only if he's lying about not having keys. He has every reason to do it.
Can you tell me if you saw Mr. Montague Dunn on the day of his death?
Yes, of course. I met him, and we went to see Albert, his son, at around 9:30.
Tracks about
He appeared
right.
quite calm.
Give or take 10 minutes, nobody really cares.
What were you doing on the morning of the accident?
After paying multiple visits to Albert, I had a little talk with Miss White. Then I returned to my desk to complete some paperwork. Suddenly I observed that Mr. Dunn was not feeling well, so I ran immediately to fetch Albert. I clearly remember that it was around 10:30, for I was late that morning.
Well, that doesn't
Thank
track.
you, Mr. Hamish.
It was
We
about
shall continue
10
our
past 10,
investigation.
according to Albert. But Albert's father has just been found dead. And he said he ran back to his father at 10:30. If he returned to his desk to do paperwork, he said he would have been able to observe that his father was unwell. So from here,
We can see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room from this window.
right, so he could actually see that. I also didn't realise these were here.
This poster is for an exhibition that Martin Hamish was directing, but it had nothing to do with Kew Gardens.
University of Oxford Botanic Gardens. Yeah, Oxford isn't in London.
This certificate belongs to Martin Hamish. He won a horticultural competition.
Again, he made the biggest pumpkin at the fair, he did. And these are his diplomas, I think. Martin Hamish. Again, yeah, he got his Grower of the Year. Oh, I got the biggest butternut squashes and turnips. And a nice big fat pumpkin. And that's his diploma. Okay, so he could have actually seen. So he's not lying. He just said it was about 10:30 and he remembers it clearly. Well, again, in the emotion, Albert could be mistaken. So a thought strikes me, but that statue could have been left in the nursery to incriminate Hamish. And whoever did it knew they'd left a fragment. Because if they cleaned the place, why did they leave the fragment on the floor? You know, just in case somebody actually took notice and realised it was murder. Right, we know that in here...
we are unable to see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room.
Can't see it.
Can you tell me what Mr. Dunn was doing upon the day of his death?
I can.
Dying.
But there is nothing very special to say. I was in the laboratory when I saw Mr. Dunn
He's got
heading
shifty
towards
eyes.
me. Tuesday is the day of his weekly visit. It was supposed to be at 9, but he was 10 minutes late, as usual.
And then?
Well, he came in to say good morning. Then I saw him spend 2 or 3 minutes by the plants outside the laboratory. After that, he ran out in the direction of the nursery, where Mr. Hamish was working. He was always in a rush during the inspection, you see. I would pity anyone who stood in his way.
I mean, that could track. They should have then gone to see Albert, so that was early enough that they would have been able to do that by 9:30, right? He'd have gone to see Hamish, they would have talked for a little bit, and then headed back to see Albert.
And that was the last time you saw him?
Yes. I stayed in the laboratory until 20 minutes to 11, when I heard the cries of Albert to Mr. Hamish from the large glass house.
About the same.
I joined them as soon as I could, for I knew that something must be very wrong.
What exactly were you doing in the laboratory?
I was recording an experiment for my thesis. I only stopped my work once when Mr. Hamish visited me briefly around 10 o'clock.
Hamish didn't say he went to visit her, did he? Oh, he did. He said he went to speak to her briefly, and then, yeah, he went back to his place.
But you say you were recording an experiment when the tragedy occurred. Might I listen to the roll?
Certainly. Please do. You will find it in the laboratory. It is number 320.
Okay, we'll go and have another listen
Thank
to
you,
that
miss.
then.
Everyone has gone, Holmes. The way is clear.
Are you parade marching there, Watson? Reliving your days in the military? I don't want to do this yet. I want to go and listen to the thing again. I need to refresh my memory. What was she actually researching at the time? We're going in entirely the wrong direction. Never mind. We're here now. Let's go out the back and go around. I'm lost already, as per usual. Just for the record, she's my most likely suspect. I kind of think she did it. Alright, so the lab. The table for experiments here. Here's the phonograph. So cylinder number 320, she said. Well, there isn't a 320 here. Are we missing it? Because in here, this is where we got the lead on the alkaloids that we used as part of the whole plant thing. You know, like the sequence of aggravation of the toxic plants. One attacking another, so that it produced all of its spores. Oh, Holmes, get off the table. Oh, okay, there's a load of them in here.
Cylinder records.
Alright. Oh, man. Okay,
Here
we
it
didn't
is.
actually listen to this, you see. So this is the one she was working on. She wouldn't point us towards this, though, if it was incriminating, right?
These plants, classified as shrubs or grasses, have adapted to their arid environment due to a system of underground roots.
This recording seems very long. It is unnecessary to listen to all of it. Miss White was in the laboratory, as she told us.
Yes, but when did she record that? Or was she doing what she was doing when she recorded it? She's very clever. She's a very clever girl, I think. You know, this one's one of hers as well, if I remember correctly. Come on. Boop.
And it seems clear from these multiple experiments that plants do respond to their environment and have a form of consciousness. Margaret White, February 1895. Report number 245.
Study report.
That's very much in line with the killing method. But so is this one by Martin Hamish. Come on. Where do we... There it is.
Martin Hamish's perception of plants. The notion of communication in the plant world has long been considered marginal, yet I remain convinced that some plants do indeed transmit chemical signals in the event of attack.
A study report by Martin Hamish.
That also tracks with the method of killing. So I have to do research into a state bill to raise the smoking age from 18 to 21? Oh dear. Yay. Okay, well, let's go talk to the Divine Syndicate guys. So we haven't finished there yet. I just want to double check a couple of things. Oh yeah, I mean, that's part of legal lawmaking, isn't it, really? You know, when a government makes a law, they like to bring in experts who quote non-specific facts and don't back it up with sources. They just make wild claims and say, oh yeah, we should make a law on this because I think this. And you're like, so? Show some proof. Damn it, show me proof of pornography addiction and then I will back blocking pornography. Oh. Sorry. Yeah. Getting a little bit personal there.
Follow my path, and better you will fear.
Okay, we can't talk to this guy again. Interesting. So Holmes has ruled him out as a suspect without me even having a say in the process. Fantastic. Well, what about Mr. Top Hat? The magician, as I like to call him. Look at him.
Praise the grand tree. Praise it.
The crazy magician. Let's have a look in here again. Did they take the plants back? No, they haven't yet. They're all gone still. Okay. Then you have statistics like 95% of people start smoking before the age of 21. Yeah, that's because the goddamn legal age is 18, you spinning assholes. It's like, yes. That's really stupid. Yeah, the sociologist in me just weeps when I see things like that. It's like, well done! You've pointed out a social trend that is based on current regulation. Oh, fantastic. That's like saying, most people don't get their driver's licenses until they're 17 or older. It's like, really? You don't say. Could it be because they don't give them out until then? The sociopath gets pissed off when you're... Yeah, that's true as well. Okay, I don't think there was anything we can really do here. See, there was nothing about this place that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, other than the fact that they also had the same ingredients. But, I mean, these guys would study the plants as well, right? In many respects. Okay, so, the game wants me to do what now? Find out how to simulate it. Yes. You're a sociologist, I'm a psychopath. We can make a wonderful hero team. Yes. Watson, you're in the way, bro. Fine, I will... no, pressing all the wrong buttons. I will do it this way. We'll go to Kew Gardens like this.